participate in.
Do you do memes and stuff?
Oh my God, dude, you're on a group chat with me. How
Yeah,
many
okay, so you
gifts?
contribute to it.
No, I know,
Or maybe
I
you
know.
pull from it, whatever works.
No, I'm firmly in the zeitgeist. I'm like, I'm like, I use terms like yeet and skibbity.
Oh, God. I'm glad Amelia's not back in here because if she heard you say that, she would not stop.
I know it's weird to have like when now you have children who are of an age where they're learning like they have things that they like
They're coming on with new
glom
shit that
onto.
I have no idea, and I'm like, I'm trying to catch up here. I'm just like,
Well,
stop.
I
I don't
mean,
want to hear it.
isn't the highlight of age when you watch like the VMAs and they're like now performing Blendorp and you're like, who the fuck is this?
Oh, you never
I
heard of
don't know who
Blendorp
that
before?
is. Right. And then you're like, and then it'll be like, and a lifetime achievement award for Breaking Benjamin. And you're like, wait,
Oh,
what?
ugh, that'll make you feel old. Ugh.
Yeah. I'm like,
Thanks.
woof.
Why you do that?
I'm wearing a Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt, and they've been a band for quite literally probably 40 years now.
I was gonna say at least older than me. No offense.
I mean, what are you, 37?
Yeah,
I remember
good
37.
guess.
That was a good year.
That was just yesterday.
Oh yeah, well, wait, you had your birthday, right?
Every year.
Recently.
Yeah.
I mean, recently, you butt.
Yeah, August.
August. Oh, you're an August baby?
Yeah.
Oh man, you gotta
I
be
was the summer
you and
blockbuster that year.
Terry. And when's Meg's birthday?
September.
So like, oh, it's funny because you, her, Terry, are your when were your I'm sorry just to be this guy.
No, you're
When
good.
were your kids' birthdays?
So Amelia and Lauren is kind of funny because their birthdays are literally inverses of each other.
Really?
Yeah.
How how so?
Well, Lauren was born on June 29th, and Amelia was
Yeah,
born on September 26th. 629926.
that's a easy way to remember.
Yeah.
I can like remember obviously remember Terry's birthday. Every other and my own and my brothers and my sisters, and that's really basic. And my cousin, and that's it. Every other birthday,
All gone.
all gone.
See, that's why I got this. I just put it in there and say, remind me every year so I don't forget.
Oh, I do. I have a running tally, and I need to add yours and need to add your entire family
Thank you
because
for
it's
reminding me. I have to add you to mine as well. I asked and never added it in.
when is my birthday?
February.
Yes, the unfortunate February birthday that corresponds with a movie. Come on. Come on. There's only one. Well, there's the most useless holiday in the year.
Right. Are you, okay, are you talking about that the Valentine's Day Massacre movie?
No, the most useless one. It is the second day in February. Come on.
It must be really useless because I have no idea.
Groundhog Day?
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Jesus
You're right.
Christ, man.
That one is
The,
useless.
wo-
My
the
bad.
dumbest holiday has one of the most famous movies.
You're right. I didn't even think about that movie. Jeez. See,
Well,
that's how useless it is.
imagine growing up and every single solitary person asking you for a stretch of 20 years and then getting to be like in your mid 20s and people don't ask it anymore and then hitting 30 all the way through 40 and people start asking it again.
Mm-hmm.
So Groundhog Day is your favorite movie, huh? It's like, no, it's not. It's a good movie. I'm like Harold Ramis directed it and he was R.I.P. But
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not my favorite movie.
Right. That would get annoying.
It's one of the perks of having a birthday That corresponds to a movie.
I guess. Is that really a perk?
No.
Okay, look, I brought it over this time so I can show it off. Yay.
Hell yeah,
Okay,
man.
I know
That
my
thing looks
camera
so cool.
sucks, so you can't really see it. There you are. Look, there he is.
Oh, I'm in the game.
I'm playing Sean. Anyway, I wish you could actually see like the holograph thing. Amelia had me change it out, so now instead of this little bad boy being in it, looks just like the
Yeah.
cartridge, but it's actually the Lego thing. It's got Link's Awakening in it. So I had to match the holograph inside. But
So
can you hear this?
I can't on your.
Okay.
It's too quiet, but it'll probably be on the podcast.
Yes,
Like
it sounds
when you
just
miss.
like the old Game Boy when you put it in, and the switch at the top actually clicks.
Oh yeah.
And then the
And
buttons have feedback.
yeah, because they have the elastic bands on the back, right?
Yep.
Well, the elastic band on the back of the D-pad, and then the other ones have like some sort of like rubber gasket, right?
Mm-hmm. And then
That's so good.
to switch that stuff out, you just pop off the back there, and then this flops down, and that's how you change out the little screen in the back.
Oh, that's pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, on our notes for today's podcast, I actually dropped something in for the Lego nerds.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I didn't look. I'm excited.
You added a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah, just a couple things. A lot of Xbox news this week. What? Xbox news this week. Should we do our
Yeah, I'm just reading. So first of all, we have to start with
Dungeon Crawler
our
Carl?
usual. Oh yeah.
So,
Well, it's funny because I just got to the part. I just finished book 4 and I just
okay.
started book 5. And remember how you were like, "Wait, how did they get Ferdinand? How did they get Gravy Boat?" And I'm like, "They have Gravy Boat. Like Gravy Boat was with them."
Mm-hmm.
And rereading it again, I had a moment too where I'm like, "How do they have Gravy Boat? They're not in Seattle. Oh, they're in Seattle. I
Yep.
forgot." Because
Yep.
she flew back because she Carl broke up with her and da 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 da.
Yep. And I don't know where they were at the time. Did they cover like what happened so that way they survived, or was it just because they were flying?
Yes. No, so even if you were in a plane, you died.
Okay.
So they flew back. They got held on a delay. It was like a 10-hour delay. They landed. They were like outside because they couldn't find a ride because they had landed so late. And because they were outside, they were with a group of dentists.
Mm-hmm.
And while they were outside, some guy, well, they were in a parking structure, and then some guy came in and set a fire, like Angela did.
Agatha.
Agatha, I'm sorry. Like Agatha did. So they ran outside, and the minute they ran outside, the entire like parking structure got sucked into the ground. So they were just like at Seattle Airport.
Was okay. Now this might be just me thinking way too, like paying too much attention to detail. But do you think that it was actually like somebody like Agatha? Because I don't know what she is, but she's clearly someone different.
Oh, you haven't gone there yet.
Not yet,
Well,
but it's clear that she's not a regular person at this
I
point.
know the I know the definitive answer to that, and you'll get there.
But was this another instance of that, or is this just someone setting fire to something?
I rereading it now. I believe that it is not like a random event,
Interesting.
and they go over it. They go over. Basically, you'll find it. I think it's in book 7 where they go over exactly who Agatha is and how that pertains to one, why she's still alive, and then two, like there's a whole series of who Agatha is such a multi-pronged question because she is like a faction of a faction that pertains to the crawl. Oh,
Okay.
that's all I will say.
Okay. So from them arriving, they ended up back towards her place and realized like there was nothing there, but Ferdinand was in the tree. And that's why she was like,
And
"Oh, I know
Charles
you.
on
I'm
the
going to keep
ground,
you."
remember?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
So, but then, like, it
it's
was what's her name? I always forget Odette's assistant's name.
Lexus,
Lexus.
Lexi.
It was. I think it's
Yeah,
Lexus. She showed up and
yeah.
stopped the two bounty hunters or whatever that was searching for B in them. But well,
Mm-hmm.
but they were specifically looking for Ferdinand.
Yes, I believe they were looking for Ferdinand, and then they found B.
Right.
And then when they found B, they were like,
Oh
"Oh."
shit.
And remember, they're talking in the alien language. They're talking in common galactic tongue or whatever they call it. And then
Of
he
course, now
looks
I
at her and
can't
he
think of
goes,
it too. Syndicate standard.
"Yeah, Syndicate standard." Um, and so then he looks over and he sees B, and he's like, Beatrice?
Mm-hmm.
Like he just realizes it, and that's when Lexus comes in. And I thought those guys, and because again, I hadn't read that book in a long time. I thought those guys like lived or something, and they killed whatever the dude's name is, Brad.
Brad. Yeah.
But what happened is Lexus in like calls Odette, and Odette says, "Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to leave the cat in a box. You're going to let Brad die, and you're going to pin that on the Null, who's one of the bounty hunters, and then we are going to buy out his warrant or whatever, so that way it's like a great deal for everybody."
Mm-hmm.
So like they just let some dude die, and it's
So but they still got the bounty that those guys wanted, because that would be how Ferdinand showed up in the dungeon.
correct. So when they left the cat, so they called like their own contacts and Borant or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they said, "Hey, by the way, you might want to get over here." So they called their contact. They come, grab Ferdinand, see Brad dead, and then they turn in the Null bounty hunter guy.
Right. And they, I guess, spirited away B, because she is
Yeah,
just she's a free citizen
Lexus took
now.
B. Lexus took B.
Right. But she is a free citizen for all intents and purposes. She doesn't come back around and she's being used for any other purposes.
Yes, exactly. Um, and that actually ties into the thing of I need to when you are done, when you've caught up completely, we're going to talk a little bit in depth. We're going to have like probably an entire episode devoted to
Let's
just
talk about
talking
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
right because there are things, and I'm not saying it's bad. Because again, this series isn't complete. There's still going to be like another 4 books or something, right?
I think you said
So,
10, yeah.
and if he does the full 10, they'll probably end up touching on it. But B's storyline is extremely interesting to me, not because of what happens, but what doesn't happen.
What does
When
that
you're done, we'll
mean?
talk about
Okay.
we'll talk about it. I don't want to ruin it for you yet because again, you don't know what's going to be happening through because you're still in book 6. You haven't even gone to book 7 yet.
Right.
Once you get to book 7, you complete it. Then I'm going to be like, so here are my thoughts because something this is an interesting thing for me.
So where are you at currently?
So right now, again, I'm literally at the start of book 5. Carl just got into he just broke into the town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and he
Oh, the Hunter's
used the
Town?
ring for
Yeah,
correct, and
yeah.
he used the ring for the first time. That which, by the way, that shit is cold.
Yeah.
Like happy hunting. It just says happy hunting, and I'm like,
It
oh,
was also really unexpected too, because he's just like, me and Donut's got something to do. I'm like, what's he doing? And then he just threw himself in there and did all that. We're like, oh God, what's going on? That was nuts.
oh yeah, I love. And again, rereading like so. For example, at the end of book 4, I forgot that he pulled the switch around, where he was like, "Oh, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to unleash a god, and everyone was like, "Oh no." And
Hmm.
then he was like, "Psych, I'm just gonna dump the whole ocean into the middle of the one like respite town,
Yeah.
making it so that we kill an entire army."
And in book six, they're still talking about how they're trying to unflood the city, and it's like they still got a whole lot of work to do.
Are, but they're not there
They're
yet,
not
right?
there yet. They're just talking about how when they get like all the stuff that's going on the Rockos, they still got a lot to do. Because
Oh yeah.
okay, where I just finished in book six, they were talking to, and this was really surprising. They met up with the team, got through like the team that was wary of them, and I forget who they were calling themselves, but it was like the really religious folks, the half
Yes.
cat lady. They got through that little side quest and fixed the town that they were in. They just got to they got to a Desperado club and was talking with Katya. He met up with Don Quixote, and he was talking about her assassination mission that she has to do. So he's like, "Well, I got some ideas because I've already met this person." But in amongst that, him and Donut, since they bought a spot in Faction Wars, which I thought was really cool, thanks to their pacifist group or whatever, helping them secure funds to have their own spot in Faction Wars,
Yeah.
they were meeting with all the different warlords and trying to figure out what was going on. And Juicebox showed up.
Oh yes, with the when they're doing the when with the holograms.
Yep,
Yeah. That's
that was intense. I
oh
was like, "Oh shit, Juicebox is still alive!" Yeah, and like she just starts taking out everybody, and like Carl arguing for like actual deaths to happen and giving them their own spot and stuff. I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" Like I've got an idea
oh
of what's
yeah.
going to happen, but like he's fighting to have. I'm guessing to have them on his team when it comes to that. That's intense.
You so I will say book seven is a tour de fucking force,
Dude,
right?
if the end of book five
Like
is anything, I can't imagine where this book's going to go. Oh, I just met Uzi Jesus too.
oh, Uzi Jesus is good. Did you meet the seal yet?
Yeah, well, which is
Kung
there
Fu
more?
seal?
That yeah, that was at the very beginning
Yeah,
when they first met the
yeah,
group.
right. Um,
Is that where the whole baby seal came from? I need a seal.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Hmm, it's good. I really like, and it's funny because we have a lot of things we're going to talk about on the podcast
Hmm.
about Pokemon and stuff. Not a lot, but I wanted to touch on it.
Okay.
But I love the Pokemon esque
The card battling stuff.
card battle system. Yeah, it's so good. I really like the one thing that I really enjoy about by virtue of the way that the books are structured, each book kind of feels like a different video game.
Yes, I would agree.
And I love that.
And I'm gonna say
I
for better
truly do.
or worse because some of them start off kind of slow or it's really boring, but once it like gets into it and it starts like pulling in more things, it gets a lot more interesting. Like the card thing is, I was like, "Ah, what are they gonna do with this?" And when it
Oh,
started, it was really slow. But then the fact that they can turn crawlers into cards and stuff like that, too, I'm like, oh,
oh,
that's messed up.
and you and forgive me. What is this? Is the name of the book is
The Eye of the Bedlam Bride.
the bed. Okay, so you okay. Wait till you meet the Bedlam Bride.
Okay.
Then things go fucking nuts. Like it is. I agree with you, and actually, that's now that we're you are a little bit further in. We can talk about that. That is one thing that rereading those boring parts are actually now the parts that I'm like really enraptured with. Like the entire thing with the old folks home,
Hmm.
like rereading that through book one with Agatha, and you're like, and especially knowing who Agatha is, now I'm like picking up on things that I'm like would have just blown past. For example, you said, oh, you met because this happened in the previous book. Gravy Boat appears,
Yes.
and Gravy Boat appears with is it a Frici or it's Florian's girlfriend who died?
They thought it was, but he showed up and said it's actually her twin sister.
twin sister, right?
Yes, Afichi
Right.
is what I think. Yeah, is what her name is.
So, and I don't know if you noticed this. I didn't pick up on this. And the only reason I remembered it because we talked about it last week.
Hmm.
In the scene where the bounty hunters are getting Ferdinand, one of them says to the other one, "Oh, I wish I was with that other team, the one in the Bahamas. They're getting that dead crawler's twin." And I'm like,
Oh
"Oh,
shit!
shit." And I'm like,
Oh
"Oh no."
wow!
And that's what, like, even when it, because one of the things that I run into, especially in first person books, I always want to stay with the protagonist or the person who's relating the story.
Hmm.
And this is one thing you're going to see. I think in book 7 they start doing a lot of third person, like, omniscient. Third person omniscient, but in combination with Carl. And every time that I get taken out of Carl's perspective, I'm like, oh yeah, we got to read through this. And then reading through that, I was like, oh shit, this is really good.
I just okay. This is gonna sound really weird, but the way you said that reminded me of another part in the book, and the AI took the form of some creature or character just to speak
Yes,
directly with Carl. And why the fuck
yes.
is he all about feet? He's like
Oh,
basically moaning and getting off over rubbing his feet just so he can give him personal information. Why does he like feet so much? And why the hell did he intentionally took a form just to interact with Carl and give him specific information? Why does he like Carl so much?
that is, and again, that's actually one thing. And this is why I want to talk with you, especially about B's story, because there are stories where I'm like, is there going to be a payoff?
Hmm.
And that's where B's story is one of them. And I don't want to ruin anything for you, but there are stories where it seems like it's going to be monumental, but I don't know if it's just flavor text, but it's all very good. And that's where I'm like, I highly recommend once you get through it, give it some time, go to a different series, whatever.
I'm
But then
still
jump back
surprised
into it.
that B is sticking around even after this because it feels like she's all done. So the fact that you're like, no, there's still more to her, I'm like, what?
Do you want me to kind of ruin it for you? No, I'm not going to ruin it for you. Read book 7, then we'll
Damn
talk
it.
about it.
All right, all
Cool.
right.
Anyways,
I have not updated the board, but I know what number we're on, and I'm going to try and do it without
yes,
messing it up this time. I always do it.
69.
No. Ramblepack Podcast, episode 73. And we're down a mic, so it's just me, Adam.
And I'm Sean.
Yay. And you said we got a lot of AI talk about.
Talkie. Yeah, the funny thing is, you put some stuff about AI,
Hmm.
and we'll probably jump into it. I also found a bunch of stuff on AI, and I would have expected there to be a lot more AI talk about various, like, video game companies. I expected it a little bit earlier than this, but, like, this week seems to be like a real turning point on using AI, especially considering last week we had that long discussion about what is art. Is
Yes.
it okay to use, generative AI? Um, I would, to do, routine and mundane functions, whatever. And that kind of ties directly into a few of the stories that we are going to be touching
Yeah.
on.
I think that there's probably a lot more AI use in the industry that we just don't hear about because there would be backlash for it.
Totally, totally. And to be fair, again, I use AI. I don't care for it. I use it. It is a fundamentally useful tool that I don't care for, you
Hmm.
know?
I,
It's
you know,
it's like Taco Bell.
AI, even though they get stuff wrong, I'm glad that like Google's AI and stuff like that, they're good aggregators. They'll at least point you in some directions and provide the links for them so you can go in and read the shit to see if it's right or wrong. It's good for aggregating stuff at least.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, for me, like, I my background was not in computers. My background is in English.
Your
That and
background is
that's
a
kind
bed
of
right now.
my
Ah,
background is an entire bedroom.
you're welcome.
Um, so I didn't have like I wish I had gone to school for like computer engineering or something. I didn't. My role now is currently changed to being something that is more tech savvy. I need to know more about technology.
Right.
So a lot of the things I use it for are like, hey, AI, can I do this thing to make this automated thing? And then it says yes. And then I say, cool. How do I do that? And then I take whatever they do and adapt it to whatever I'm doing.
It's almost like a personalized teacher.
Right. But then there's also the fundamental problem is AI is taking all of those answers came from a person at some capacity. It didn't just make it up whole cloth.
Yeah, it's scraping
And that's
websites for the
where
information based on keywords.
right. And it's like at the end of the day is it gets weird. And I'm not a huge like in my personal life I don't use AI for anything. Like
Right.
why? Why?
Same
I
here.
don't I just look it up, with my eyeballs and my big phone. But when it comes to like work stuff, I mean, it does serve a function, but I don't love it. I'm
Yeah.
not jazzed about it.
I mean, the company I work for just announced their AI initiative and how they're going to start building their own language models for stuff to help legal. So I'm like, well, here it is. I knew it was coming. It's not necessarily going to put people out of job. It actually brought people in to form their own team to like train the models and stuff like that, which is cool.
Right.
But like, and they're going to be sitting on top of it to make sure that everything that goes in and out is accurate and right. But it's still at the very beginning of this stuff. They're at least talking about it and letting people know this is going on.
Right. And actually, that was a so when I at my role before I was doing the role I'm at now, I was in a different technical capacity, and my previous manager was like, "We're going to use AI as like a knowledge aggregator," but it wasn't like ChatGPT. It was more of like a it's a crawling program that will go through PDFs, Word documents, websites, whatever,
Yeah.
and search keywords. So you can type in how do I do blank, and it will just pull up a bunch of stuff from specified locales.
Right.
And I literally went into that. I was like, you need to know if you're going to implement this, you should be creating jobs, not using people that are in the jobs now to try to train this and do the jobs that they're already doing to then offload those people later. That's not the way it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of ended up becoming that, and now it's not really worth a lot because we didn't it, you it's not AI is not a catch-all term for like it will fix all of your problems. You need to do work on it.
Right.
That being said,
Where do we want to
I
start with AI? With our
so
AI stories.
I will start off with my AI stories only because your AI stories um, kind of tie into a whole Xbox thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, it. It's one subsection of a lot of different Xbox news. So,
Right. So, um,
lay it on me, homie.
all right. So the first one that I got is basically um, Hi-Fi Rush. Do you remember that game?
I loved it. It was a great Xbox game.
No, well, you're not going to love this. So the new owner of the
Crafton.
studio that made yes, they are putting a $69 million plan together to become AI first.
Why? What is their reasoning for that? Because I felt like the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush was in a good spot, despite Xbox laying them off and then being picked up by Crafton.
So,
Not that I expect you to have all the
uh,
answers.
no,
I'm
I mean,
asking to the
actually,
ether
hold
why.
on. Right, no, totally. And so, basically, they put out a press release on Thursday. It says it's going to invest $69 million in a GPU cluster that will
Nah,
support
69.
multi-stage tasks.
Mm-hmm.
69 million. Um, that will will support multi-stage tasks requiring sophisticated reasoning and iterative planning and will serve as a foundation for accelerating the implementation of agentic AI. So basically, they're using it for workflow automation. So,
But
like, I
there's
guess
tools
here's my
already for
thing.
that.
Right. And I guess therein lies the thing. Using AI as a tool in a company that's already
Oh,
existed is one thing, but like using it to then
I had a
do
thought.
tasks that what you got.
I think you're leading into it. Like they're going to use leverage the AI to do like the simple tasks so that other people can do like the harder stuff and like do the building block shit. Where they'll do the basis of level building or whatever and say, I want it to look like this and here are my tools that I use to build it. Can you make this? And then like they'll start going in and touching it up and adding all the special shit to it.
Right. Well, that's what I hope is going to happen.
Hmm.
But again, I think, and it's funny because it ties into a couple of my other stories. Does that mean that they are going to keep their current workflow? I mean, current work staff? Are they going to let people go? I am not sure of that. And like, is there a world where that is? I think that anything, whether you're in workflow optimization, whether you're in AI, whether you're doing things like Six Sigma, Lean, Scrum, any of these um, these business excellence type programs.
Hmm.
Those are totally fine as long as they're meant to support the work staff that you currently have.
Right.
The minute that you start firing people or letting them go because you don't need some, gym to, you know, like do textures for rocks, well, now somebody's on a breadline, and this is my whole worry. I was thinking about learning how to code, and I was like, why at this point? At this point, at some in the very near future, coding is not going to be something humans do. You just type it into a thing. I would like a code to do this, and it just gives you the code.
We're getting there, sadly.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
that's
mean,
my worry too. I think the studio's not very big to begin with, so like leaning on AI kind of makes sense, but like expand the workforce, not make it more lean just to because you have this other tool that helps with that.
right, right. And at the end of the day, it's not like it's the bottom line on a spreadsheet. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's if we use AI, we're gonna get $3 million back out of our overhead. Cool, but who gets that 3 million?
Yeah.
Um, then there's on a funny note because of course it is. Um, EA is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to integrate AI into their current workflows, right? And they have a generative chatbot, Reef GPT, to
Bungie does
automate
as
game
well.
development. Huh?
Bungie does too.
Well, no, buckle in.
Okay.
So they have, and again, it's an experimental AI tool, right?
Okay.
The problem is these experimental AI tools cause coding errors, and again, I'm basing this on a Reddit post,
Okay.
causes hallucinations,
Mhm.
right? Increasing workload and employee anxiety amid industry layoffs. So, what you're having happen is you've already let go of half of your staff. You say to the other half of your staff, you need to use AI. You have this tool set that you need to then implement, and that tool set sucks.
It's
And
just
then
making
you
shit
have
up.
to Right. So then instead of making it so that you have the same amount of staff with less work and more opportunity to contribute back into the company, now you have half of the staff who has to work twice as hard to fix the AI that you brought in to remove the other half of the staff.
Right. Yikes. It sounds like they tried implementing something without working out all the bugs first.
Yep.
I
So,
wonder
and
if they even
again,
have a
that,
team that's working on the AI bot either, or if they just got it
well,
to where a point they're like, we're happy with it. See you guys later.
I mean, again, therein lies the decision. Like, if you're going to implement something like that, can you? Yes. Again, in a world, I think that there is a world where you could do that, and not that it would be, it's doable. The problem is, I think there's a mindset of when somebody says AI, the immediate thought is, oh, well, that will make our lives easier. No, AI is literally, we use AI at my work, and we're trying to implement an AI solution, and we use very technical, jargony type things. And so my litmus test for it, and I broke the AI. I was like, I gave it a very specific question, and
Mm-hmm.
I said, give me the answer to this question. And this AI, who has the technical documents from, you know, the industry that I work in,
Mm-hmm.
gave me the wrong answer. And I keep using that as an example because AI doesn't have the ability to reason. It just looks at the most common combination of words and then spits it back out at you.
Mm-hmm. And depending on how it's written, it's always input output, right? If you get garbage in, you're getting garbage out too.
And unlike a something like, I don't know, like HTML code, you can't go through AI. That's the whole thing is even if you are an AI expert, AI is fundamentally very, very difficult to like really iron out. It's meant to be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just like, you can see the outputs and say, no, that's not correct. And it will keep trying until it gets it right. But that doesn't tell you why it got that wrong to begin with. You know
Right.
what I mean? Right.
I'm,
Good stuff.
I don't even know what to think about EA, but I'm not surprised.
Well, you're going to love this one.
Okay.
Nintendo.
Uh huh.
Everyone knows Nintendo.
I think I've heard about Nintendo stance.
Nintendo don't like AI.
Yep. They're old school.
And I will say that that kind of tracks with their industry, like with
Yeah,
their place in the industry.
I agree.
They are a fundamentally, they are a old company with new ideas. You know what I mean? Like they want to do it nose to the grindstone, you push it out. If it's good, great. If not, whatever. But they want a person doing
I
that.
think they want to be the actual creators because when you put AI into a creative project, you're losing part of that creativity and soul from it. And Nintendo is nothing if not soulful games, if that makes sense. Like when it comes to any kind of Nintendo games, there's you can feel like the actual development behind it and the love and care that they put into the game and like every little bit of the consoles they can squeeze out of it. So once you start implementing that stuff, you're losing part of that.
Right. And I think that's the thing where the one of the things I love about Breath of the Wild is you could walk by a rock and you look at the rock and you're like, somebody put that there.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody, there was a decision made by a human person to put that there. Like for randomly, and again, like I'll use No Man's Sky, and it's better, but it's algorithmic. It's based on, it's not AI, but it's based on,
It's a
there was no
procedural
design.
algorithm that they designed to help seed the
Correct.
universe.
Right. So are there cool and and like Minecraft, it's the same thing.
Yes.
There are interesting things in Minecraft, but it doesn't feel deliberate. You know what I mean?
Right. A lot of it doesn't
Not that
make sense when
bad.
you look that close to it, but it's still interesting.
Right.
It's just it.
It's super interesting.
There's still missing that je ne sais quoi. It's missing something.
Right. And going back to the thing I asked last week, what is art? I am not one to say that Minecraft is not art,
Right.
but there's a definite difference to me between something like a procedurally generated world that is filled in by an algorithm versus, running around in Breath of the Wild and seeing, just like the actual love and care that was put into it by human people.
Hmm. I think the one thing that works the most for that kind of thing, and not even necessarily the AI aspect of it, but it's like the roguelike aspect of it. Like, God, what is the, not Bulletstorm, but the fucking,
Returnal?
no, Enter the Gungeon.
Oh, Enter the Gungeon. Oh, yeah.
So it's like they built puzzle pieces for maps, but then it's all procedurally thrown together for it to make sense. There's always going to be an exit. There's always going to be a certain things for this. It's always going to push you forward to like increase your characters and things like that. And every run is
Right.
supposed to be different, but it's not AI. It's the procedural stuff, and it works like that. Yeah, I think if you can design tools to let the AI procedurally generate things that make sense based on the rules that you apply to it, it could work, but that's still like that's walking a fine line pulling an AI to even do that.
Totally. And I think that's the thing of, and again, that sounds like I'm slamming roguelites and procedurally generated. I love Enter the Gungeon. I love, Binding of Isaac.
Hmm.
I love I love all those games. I love Hades. Hades is a prime
Hades,
example.
yes.
It is procedurally generated roguelike that has art behind it. There was love put into it. And
Hades is a really good example because they're even the roguelike elements are deliberate because you're always upgrading, you're always moving forward, things are getting a little bit easier and making more sense. But they designed it that way too. It's not just random, you might get this, you're good to go.
right. And I think that's the thing that is really, I don't know, like if you have and not to slam our AI overlords, but if you have a soulless computer, they're not they'll put out stuff that it thinks that you think you want.
Hmm.
I forget where I was reading this recently or heard this recently. Somebody said something along the lines of the worst thing you can do as in like for a franchise is listen to the fans, and it kind of it tracks, right?
Yeah.
Like part of the things we love about the Legend of Zelda, like that wouldn't get off the ground now, but somebody put it out there, it resonated with an audience, and they continued with it.
Hmm.
Could you make? I'm sure AI could generate any number of like free to play garbage shovelware games, but
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, it's not going to make, a Skyrim. It's not going to make, you know, a Breath of the Wild. It's not going to make one of those games.
No, but I like that you said Skyrim because I can see an Elder Scrolls game where they use AI to generate characters that have their own like their own voices and their own like needs and wants and schedules for throughout the day or whatever. Like that would be a good application for that because then that takes the load off of other designers. So that way they can work on quests and stuff like that, or they can even seed it with like specific character creation ideas.
Sure. I think the thing for me is like if you're going to use AI or anything to do that, then don't developers make it so that, you know, the simple coders and, physics engine gurus or whoever's developing the game
Hmm.
have to work, 19-hour days and sleep at their office. If you want to do that, that's fine. But give the people who are actually busting their asses the ability to go home to their families and shit.
Crunch should still not be a thing.
Especially not now. Like again, we have tools that can do this for you.
Hmm.
Don't make don't work harder, work smarter.
Yes. So
Not developers.
Nintendo.
Developers always work smart.
So Nintendo's not for AI.
And neither is the Pal World developer.
Cool.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
always felt like they were kind of old
so
school and they took pride in what they made, so that makes sense.
yeah, and I think, and again, I don't know if this is ubiquitous in Japan, but it's just interesting that Nintendo and Pocket Pair, who is the developer of Pal World,
Hmm.
both residing in Japan, are like, no, we are not doing this.
Yep. A lot of the same mentalities.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I I I love the idea that there are it's not like the small developers that are like, no, we can't do this. It's like the big developers who are like actively lobbying so that way other large developers can't use this to then axe their entire, their entire workforce.
Mm-hmm. Funny you say the big companies that do it because Microsoft has been reported to be all in, despite some people saying no, we're not. They've There's been a lot of other people from inside Microsoft and Xbox that have said, yeah, they want us to start using AI.
I mean,
I
tracks.
don't even know where
I
to
mean, there
go from there, just because like the Microsoft news itself is. Let's start with Microsoft, then move into Xbox because then it'll turn into
yeah.
games. Microsoft apparently, according to Jason Schreier's like inside research news from folks there, is that Microsoft was pushing a 30% profit margin on Xbox, which is way above the standard for the industry, which is surprising. And
I
like
mean, isn't Are consoles a loss leader? Like, isn't that the whole thing?
always,
You end
yeah,
up losing money on the console because you
yeah.
make it back up in the games.
Mm-hmm. And what's funny is that there's some, I don't remember if it was Xbox or Microsoft specifically. I think it was one of the Xbox execs said that people are tired of exclusives, like they're burnt out or worn out about it. And I'm like, well, where the fuck was this like a few years ago when everybody was trying to make exclusives? Everyone was saying it's a bad idea to begin with. Why are you still doing it? And now they're like, we got to make up money for all the shit that we pulled. So to make up that extra percentage that they have to intake, that was where all the layoffs and things came from, probably where the leveraging for AI came from as well, and like all the layoffs and the studio closures and the game cancellations and project stoppage and all that fun shit. Yay! But even better,
Yeah.
HCS, the Halo Global Champion or Halo Championship Series, is going to be going on this weekend, starting on Friday. Supposedly, they're going to be showing off a new game. There's some speculation that it's going to be the Halo CE remake. Two interesting things with that. One, they think that if that's the case, this one's going to be announced that it's going to be for the PS5 as well, which is going to be pretty neat. The whole other audience that have been waiting to get it for those who don't want to get an Xbox. Cool. I'm all for more people. Still going to be weird to see Master Chief on the PlayStation, considering it's always been an Xbox exclusive thing, and you've always heard them say, no, this is Xbox, staying on Xbox, not going anywhere else. Different times we're living in now, I guess. But the other problem is that there have been a handful of reports and two different folks on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, were going back and forth saying, yes, this is it, and then another one saying no. Specifically, Rebs Gaming was saying that Xbox Studios, specifically Halo Studios, is reported to be using generative AI, which they've now updated to say it's actually procedural AI for their next game, which is the Halo CE remake. Also, they're
Huh.
supposedly working on a live service multiplayer game project that's similar to Fortnite. News to me. Didn't hear about that. But then another
Yeah.
big user on X is Jez Corden. He was saying, no, that's not true. AI wasn't being used in that. Despite Rebs Gaming coming back and people pointing out that actually this is probably true because before there was some job listings that were confirmed hiring for generative AI use in some of those positions within Halo Studios. So it's kind of hard to fight that when the studio itself is hiring for those positions to begin with. And a lot of those rumors were actually backed by Jason Schreier's report about the profit margin and them pushing the use of AI. But from what I was reading, their use for AI, they want it to be more, like I said, procedural based and somehow using enemy AI in the procedural AI being used to generate enemy AI. Where I don't know how I feel about that because Halo's AI was built on Bungie's design for them, and I thought that was like perfect. They kept tweaking it here and there between 2, 3, and Reach, and I felt like they got it in a good spot. And even in the newer games, it still felt akin to that. I don't know if they messed with it or if they ported it over and still built upon it or whatever, but it felt good. So if they use an AI to generate your character AIs are things that you run into. I don't know how I feel about that or how that's gonna feel or look, but we'll see what
Well,
they
and
say.
it's funny that you say that too, because the going into the thing of is exclusivity.
Hmm.
One of the things I actually had heard, and I wanted to bring this up too, because again, it's interesting, especially after all of these, market rumors about, or not even rumors, this whole studio acquisition thing that happened like 3 years ago.
Hmm.
There's unconfirmed rumors, but I guess from a trusted source, that Starfield will probably end up being ported to the PS5 in 26.
I heard about
So,
that too. I
right.
actually heard
So,
about that a couple months ago, so the fact that it's coming back around is looking pretty solid.
I mean, the thing is, like, and again, I'm no hate on Xbox. I'm not like, I like Nintendo and PlayStation because that's kind of what I bought. Like, if things had gone a different way, because I owned a lot of their systems, I'd be a Sega guy. Like, I
Hmm.
had a Dreamcast, I had a Saturn, I love both those systems. Those tanked, and there was like, okay, well, I want to keep playing cool looking games. Um, I can buy, with my pizza shop money that I had when I was in my 20s, I could buy either a PlayStation 2 or I could buy a GameCube.
Hmm.
Which one do I get? Oh, I'll go with PlayStation.
I went with
And
GameCube.
when they and to be fair, now I'm kind of like, oh, I wish I went with GameCube. Um, but you know, it's the cigarette conundrum. No one switches brands. But
I wouldn't know. I
from
don't smoke.
an lucky. So I think the thing that's really funny is that you have like looking from the outside, it does seem very nonsensical. The adhere like I can't make heads or tails of what Xbox is trying to do. Like they've always played third place. They were close at one point, but like they've never had the same numbers. I think PlayStation 5 just broke the PlayStation 3 all time
Yep,
like
I just
sales
saw
record.
that. Yeah, John Chataway, I think is what his name was. He was giving out some numbers of things, and he says it just recently beat the PS3 sales.
Right. And it's like, and again, like I get the idea behind this exclusivity, but like from somebody who's like I liked Bethesda games. I was cool with Fallout. I love Skyrim. I liked Oblivion. Um, but finding out that that's going to be an only Xbox exclusive, I'm like, come on, man. Like even PlayStation to a point is kind of getting the hint. They're putting their Spider-Man out for PC. It's not for Xbox, but it's for PC.
Right.
So in theory, you could buy it, on Xbox Game Pass or whatever.
Here's a
You know
funny
what I mean?
workaround for that. The ROG Ally came out. You can buy
Yeah.
Spider-Man on Steam. You can install Steam comes installed on the ROG Ally, which is the Xbox handheld. You can play a PS5 game on your Xbox handheld.
I think that's one of the things that I would like to see going forward in PlayStation, going into a PlayStation 6. And again, I think you might have put this on here. Um, that, oh no, I don't think you put it on there. I guess they're looking to do a more curated Xbox experience. So now, like, all of their, and we talked about it in the past, but like their handheld consoles are going to be expensive, but even their regular consoles are going to be extremely
So
expensive.
it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, Sarah Bond, who is like the head of or the president of Xbox, apparently. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember that she got an upgrade to her title. But yeah, like she is quoted as saying the next. I've got the quote right here. The next gen console is going to be a very premium, very high end curated experience, which people are leading to believe that means that it's going to be expensive and price out a lot of people, but it's going to do specific things or be capable of doing specific things. Have no idea because they haven't given out any other words about it, but that's considering all the marketing decisions they've made now is it doesn't sound good.
Right, and it's like I think that a way that PlayStation could really differentiate itself, Sony could kind of follow suit. Right now, we have, if Xbox tanks, we have Xbox, Game Pass,
The
Steam.
next console is going to tell us if they tank or not because they're committed with AMD to actually make it. But if it doesn't do well, I don't see them continuing console making after that.
I don't. I mean, console making has been like it's reaching its upper limit.
It
Like
is,
I saw a thing that basically
which
was like, yeah,
that explains why Xbox give or it has such a push for this is an Xbox marketing, claiming how like the Game Pass, PC Game Pass, whatever can be on your computer, on your phone, on your actual Xbox, anything like that.
right. If Xbox does tank though, we're gonna end up with two systems, home systems. It's gonna be Nintendo and Sony.
Hmm.
Both of those systems not really interchangeably friendly. You know what I mean?
Yep.
PlayStation a bit more. You can do remote play when you're in the same network as your house, but even then, that's not great.
Yep.
You know, um, I think that's the way that Sony has to differentiate themselves is by kind of going all in and making their own platform. You know what I mean?
What would that look
Don't
like? Like I get
I
what
don't
you're
know.
saying, but I'm trying to think of like what that would even look like.
I mean, it would probably just end up being like I mean, it would probably just be Sony's Xbox Game Pass. It'll be PlayStation Plus, right? But it'll have some functionality where you can download games to a computer. It'll be Steam, basically. And you buy a PlayStation if you want your premium experience, fine, like Xbox. But you also then give your player base the option of picking up a phone, picking up whatever, like make it so that your PlayStation controller can connect to a computer relatively easily. Microsoft could
Yep.
do that because they own Windows.
Yep.
That's just it's part and parcel of the game.
Yep.
If they could kind of honestly like if Sony and Xbox like coordinated their efforts, they could probably make something that's pretty decent. But would we pay for it? Again, I don't know. Like that's where I honestly don't know what it would look like, but I do kind of hate the fact that like an Xbox player for a system that's, not doing nearly as well in sales as, PlayStation
And
can
that's
go on their
unfortunate.
phone. You're right. And like there's no rhyme or reason why it should be that way.
I will say the
And I
Xbox
think
is a great system. It's unfortunate that they're not doing as well, considering the 360 was like the upper echelons of console. If you had one, it was most likely a 360. But they so far they've fallen. But the Series X, like even the Series S, is a good series or system for people who don't have enough money for the Series X. But the Series X is a great fucking system, and it's sad that it didn't sell as well.
right. And actually to be fair, like even PlayStation guy through and through was thinking about getting a Series S. Like I was thinking about it because I was like,
It's a good
shit,
way to
man,
get
I want
people
to.
in the door. It was a good
Right,
introduction for people.
right. Like I want to be able to play, Starfield. I don't want to have to wait 3 years to play it
Hmm.
when they may or may not release it on PlayStation.
That's what I
Like
was gonna
I don't
say.
know.
Considering they put Indiana Jones on PS5, it's more than likely gonna come to the PS5 as well. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah. So I'm looking at some other stuff that you got. So No Man's Sky
No, yeah,
is
out of
being done.
nowhere, we just talked about one of their new updates, what, 2 weeks ago or something like that, and here they are with another one called Breach. This one, I'm really interested in this one, and makes me really want to play No Man's Sky again. Just gotta find the time. But this one is,
Oh,
I. It sounds like it's taking place in space more so. You got ghost starships. You do breach expeditions. There's space wrecks now. They improved the shipbuilding. You can salvage ship parts from things now, and apparently there's some things that are infested.
holy God!
Yeah,
It's. I'm looking through it right now. Oh, this game looks so good.
I know.
Oh,
And
by the
they
way,
did an up. Hey, he joined us. Yay! Hi, Rocky.
the
Good boy.
unofficial fourth member of the team.
Don't tell Meg.
He's trying to lick the microphone. You can't eat the microphone. You can't eat it. You can't eat the
I
microphone,
gotta
baby.
find the number of updates that No Man's Sky has had because we let me get my words right. We counted it before, and I think it was like 20 something now since release.
It's so Evidence is called Expedition 20. So I'm assuming that this is the 20th expansion that they put out. Good for them. Like honestly, it was funny because that was one of our when we first met. That was one of the first things we were talking about was No Man's Sky,
Yep.
and I was so excited and I was so bummed. And it's not really fair. I think that the hype train is a real thing, and I think at that point I was all about the hype. Um, and I really need to get back and play this. I feel like this would be a really good game to just chill out. Like part of me wants to buy for the Switch so I can just like like if I'm up here, I can just put on the Switch, play some No Man's Sky, fly around a little bit, those that kind of a thing.
I have not played it in a very long time, actually, since I introduced Mike to it. So I'm hoping that they took some of the grind out because that was just that took me out of it a lot. There's just so much of that
Yeah,
because you got to get so much of this just to turn into a small amount of this, which you need this to turn into a small amount of this to be able to do this. It's just a lot of that
right.
back and forth shit, which is that's what bored me the most. I love the exploring. I love the interactions with stuff on the space what the
Fascisms.
yeah, those things out in space. Still never made it
Yes.
to the middle of the galaxy despite utilizing wormholes and stuff like that, which that was like the main goal I wanted to do with the game, but never got to
Right.
it.
Right. And part of me wants to jump in. Honestly, I think that this game would be if I'd like to see. I'm not going to get it when at release, obviously, but I'd love to see what if it does release for Switch 2, what optimizations it'll have, how it runs, and if it runs well, honestly, I might get it. If it's like a $30 price point, I paid $60 for the base game. You know what, like 9 years ago. Like, sorry, Mike's actually commenting on our thing. Back to the grind. Hi, Mike. Um, no, honestly, like if it plays well, I think that this game really, really, really would lend itself to like a handheld system if it runs well.
Oh wait, no way. He's is he watching the stream?
Yeah,
Oh shit, I didn't realize that. Nice. I just saw him in the chat there, like he said, back to the grind. I didn't realize he was actually watching us on Twitch. Awesome. Hi, Mike. And I had to count it 40 expansions to No Man's Sky.
40.
40 major expansions
Wow.
that added shit. Nuts.
God bless those guys.
I know. They have not stopped. The game released in 2016.
Almost 10 years old and it's still going.
Oh, you were
Oh
talking
man, by the
about.
way,
Go ahead.
go on, I'm
No,
sorry.
you go.
I think you might probably be oh, no, no, you go ahead. Honestly, I'm curious to see where you're going to go with this.
I was just going to mention that since you were talking about No Man's Sky coming out on the Switch too, Assassin's Creed Shadows and Fallout 4 anniversary just got announced today for like all the systems or whatever, but it also was announced for the Switch alongside Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I think there was speculation because they didn't say anything about Shadows being released on Switch 2, but they expected it, and here we are, it actually did release.
Funny enough, actually, speaking of things going to be releasing on the Switch too, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition just got pushed back.
Oh, how come?
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
assuming
look at this.
developmental delays.
That's
Oh
all Mike
yeah.
talking to us on Switch or on Switch on the Twitch. I didn't even notice that. And he, right here at 9:51, Rocky.
Oh yeah. PlayStation stand all the way. Nice. um. Oh man, I gotta get back onto Twitch. I That's one thing it fell off. I remember like a million years ago there was a huge data breach, and then it was like, I was like, nah, I'm probably not gonna go back on there anytime soon.
Oh, you know what my
Yeah,
problem
but
is? I
so
was not watching the chat on my streaming shit right here. I could have seen him talking to us and responded. Sorry, Mike. Oops.
69.
Anyway.
Um, anyway, so, oh, okay. So let's go into. I'm looking at something you put in here. Oh, Vampire Survivors in terms of updates free.
Oh yeah. I need to get back on Vampire Survivors because there's more shit to do now. They're on a spree of updates. In the last 3 days, they've unveiled these last three updates, with two more coming. I don't know what they're gonna be. Let me find my notes. I just lost it. Oh, here we are. So the first one that they showed off, and I feel like they're teasing something because at the end of each of these little trailers, after explaining what the updates are, there's it looks live action, but it's like the last 2 to maybe 5 seconds are like live action snippets of horror themed things. And I don't know what that's supposed to signify. But first update was that they announced online co-op finally. No more couch co-op. You get to play online with your friends.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I should get it, and then we can play it together.
Please. I've been trying to get Mike
I
to
mean, I
try
should
it.
get it. I need to get it on the system I'm actually using, is what I mean to say.
Fair enough. It's free on iPhone. Or it was. I don't know if it still is.
Well, I have my work phone, so that's good.
There you go. The next one that they announced was something called the Free Westwoods update. It looked like it was going to be new adventures and stuff, but they also like jokingly talked about how it's gambling because they're like, "What are you going to do with all that gold? You can turn it in for less gold and do all this shit in the game." So I don't know much about that. It seemed jokey, but like it's what they were going to do. It's what their second update was. The third one was the biggest one so far, and they're updating their Ode to Castlevania DLC, which is kind of unheard of because I don't recall the last one besides their stuff that they actually updated with new things. So for the Castlevania DLC that they put out, there's going to be 16 new characters and weapons, plus some new unions with them, new music from the people who like made the remixes for it, and an entirely new adventure for it as well. And I like that they made the kind of snip where they're like, when we said everyone was here, we meant everyone was here. So now I'm wondering what other characters from the Castlevania series did they bring in? Because they had a decent amount already.
Interesting.
Are you
By
watching
the
the
way,
trailer?
no, I'm not watching the trailer. I'm actually buying it for the PlayStation because I was like, oh, it's going to be like $15.
No,
I'm
dude.
like, no, it's five. It's $5.
Yeah, and all the DLC was like 2, 3, maybe 5. It's nothing.
Sorry, my dogs are freaking out down there. Oh, this is cool. Actually, you know what? I just realized that you can actually, again, one of the good things about being in an online world now, I can order games from my computer, which for my Switch, which is nice.
And if you have it set up too, you can have it
Well, I'm going.
automatically install from wherever you are.
That's what I'm doing right now,
There
babe.
you go.
I'm gonna be playing Vampire Survivors because I feel like
Yeah.
you know what? I feel like that's a good. Oh, I got. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a call in between a meeting, and I'll put on Vampire Survivors for 3 seconds. Cool. Two announced more updates too. They haven't gone through those yet.
Not yet. On the last trailer, you can see like they have the little. Have you ever played Vampire Survivors?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
on my
so you know how their arcane
PS5.
system, it's like playing cards. It's you see the back of the card and then it flips it over and does that. It's the back of the
Yeah.
playing cards, and for each update they flip it over with a little picture and then they talk about that update. There's still two more that are flipped over, like face down. So waiting to see what those are.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Mike's
So
still listening.
going
He
in
goes vampires, vampires, vampires.
vampires, very
Hi,
Halloween
Mike.
themed episode.
Wave to
Hi,
Mike. Say
Mike.
hi. How you doing?
Um, Now it looks like. Oh God,
I got some Assassin's Creed news for you, but I don't know if you want me to save
that's
that.
what that's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. Did you know anything about that?
Nope.
No? Oh shit. How do you feel reading through the notes?
Ugh. Um. Oh man, this it's all bad. So evidently, and again, based on I haven't opened up the actual article. Assassin's Creed 3 director says they had to kill off Desmond Miles to stop lore Nazis, which very choice words, from
Yeah.
policing everything and ensure the franchise could survive within the mainstream. So
Does the
you took
name?
the one grounding, yeah,
No, go ahead.
no, like you took the one grounding element to all those games, and you were like, let's just nix him, and we'll just make it so. What?
So reading through the article, it felt like because Ubisoft stepped in and had them do more, it added more weight to things and kind of made it messy. So he's like, well, we gotta have some sort of reset, but it kind of threw everything off at that point. I was gonna say, does the name Alex Hutchinson sound familiar or anything?
Yes,
Okay, he was the
it
creative
definitely
director
does.
that said that.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get the idea, but like, Assassin's Creed was originally. So I guess this herein lies the big rub, right? And
Hmm.
I think we've talked about this before too. And this Assassin's Creed's really hit on this as a franchise. Call of Duty does the same thing. You have to release a game every year. You
Yep.
have to release a game every year. Doesn't matter if it's crap.
I don't think that they had planned on that originally, though, based on reading through the article.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They probably had because again, from Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, there was like a period of like 5 years. I think
Hmm.
there was a console generation between those. Well, no, there wasn't. It was all on PS3 as far as I remember,
And all on
but
360.
and 360. But then, right? Oh, we Assassin's Creed 2 comes out. It does phenomenally.
Yep.
Everyone loves it. It gets lauded as being one of the best sequels to a game ever made.
Yep.
Well, now you're on Ubisoft's in their
Radar.
crosshairs,
Yeah.
right? And they're like,
We
"Oh,
need
cool,
more.
we need more of that." And so then they have to release Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which again, as I can
And
see in your
and
notes,
then
does,
Revelations.
and then
Because
Revelations
they had to
because
tie that
people
all
like
up.
it, right?
Yes.
And they had to do the full Ezio story, and then
Yep.
they do three, and then everyone's like, "We don't know who this guy is," so okay. Which, by the way, I love Assassin's Creed 3,
Same.
and like that's where it gets really interesting to me, like from a story based lore perspective, the only thing tying those three games together, or and again when I say three I mean five, but three games together
Number 3.
is is Desmond.
Yes.
So when you remove him, okay, now you're stuck with a premise of you get to go in the past, but there's no one to go into the past because you killed off the main character.
Mike says 3 is where he started in the franchise.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start. I mean, that's a really
I
cool
I
game.
would say skip 1, start from 2.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I would say you have to play one, and the only reason I would say you have to play one, not for lore reasons, but because the jump. First of all, I remember when one came out, and I remember playing one, and I was floored with the amount of people that are on screen at any given time. I was floored,
Did you
which is
forget
funny
Dynasty
now.
Warriors or 99 Nights?
Right, but those are, and not to say this in a bad way, but those are like mindless mobs
That's fair.
charging you. Right.
Yeah.
This is like a series of random people in a very like constructed artistic interpretation of, Acre or Jerusalem or wherever you are,
Hmm.
right? Then you like you feel immersed. The immersion was crazy. The game itself is pretty boring. It's in
It's very
playing it
repetitive.
again, it's super repetitive. And then you play Assassin's Creed 2 and all of those things that were repetitive. And
Hang
there
on.
was
Stepping back,
it's
the one thing that got me from Assassin's Creed 1 to 2 was like a lot of the things I was reading from this article too was like 2 is where the whole aliens and precursor shit and like premonition stuff came in. But people are forgetting that at the end of one, the whole bleed effect with the Animus caused Desmond to see writing on the wall that was leading into all that
Right.
stuff. And that's what hooked me. I'm like,
Right.
oh, I need to know more about this stuff. And then they went full in on two.
Right. And that's one of the things I really loved about and again, people are polarized on the present day storylines, but the
The way
whole
that they wrote
conceit,
that, this would have been perfect
yeah,
if it was just a trilogy. If they had three
right,
lead into the modern day Assassin's Creed stuff, it would have made a lot more sense and been a lot more cohesive.
right. But again, no one's going to kill that money train.
Nope.
Keep churning them out. And I think that's again one of those things where it's like,
Oh, dude. You can see the Assassin's Creed effect in a lot of Ubisoft games now, which is why all the maps are littered with crap to go and find and do and collect and stuff.
it's a combination of Assassin's Creed, um, it's Assassin's Creed and oh my God, what's the other big Ubisoft first-person shooter?
Far Cry.
You often Far Cry. It's a combination of those two games
Mm-hmm.
that really cemented that. And again, this is the problem. Listen to your fan base at your own peril because people loved Assassin's Creed and they loved it to death.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Far Cry, like it's not like a release every year. Like it's a release every couple
Yeah,
years,
they take
but
their time,
like
but it's
it's
still a lot of the same game, just a different place, different main characters and stuff like that. But it's still, you're running around some area with a gun doing something and liberating areas and getting new guns and meeting new people.
yeah. I mean, that's super interesting too. Again, I haven't played anything past
I
Syndicate.
see you
Well, no,
highlighting
past
the little
what?
note I have in there.
Yes, where
I
Desmond is
was
still technically alive, but I mean, here's the thing. You could bring it back. I think that
I
there is
want
a
to know
world where you
how. I haven't played Valhalla, so I'm curious as to what that means. Like, what does it mean that he's technically alive in some form in Valhalla?
I what actually I want to know because I actually have I've gone so far away from the series. Assassin's Creed Shadows, is that more of a Valhalla-esque RPG or is that more of a what's the one that Mirage? Is that a more of a Mirage going back to the old school? I honestly don't know. I know it's
It's a
very
more
similar
fluid version
to
of that. It's like an action RPG with more focus on stealth if you're the I forget what her name is, or if you're Yasuke, he's more like action oriented, whereas the other one's more stealth.
okay. I mean, again, I'm not slamming that game though. I mean, again, if I
It
have the
got good
choice, do I
reviews.
buy Assassin? Yeah, but I mean, if I again, I don't own that game and I don't own Ghost of Yotai, and I'm definitely getting Ghost of Yotai. Which, by the way, one thing we're gonna do next time we do this podcast, I want to hear where you're at in Ghost of Tsushima. We're a little late in the game now to do that, but I want to know. You have to text me during the week when,
Okay.
especially when you get to the sad part.
Okay.
Ooh, that one hurts.
I already feel bad for what's her name losing all of her family. Like I'm almost finished with her little side story thing.
Oh, totally. And okay, so here's actually a question because I saw you put something in here for Counter Strike.
Hmm.
I'm not a big like I was not a CS:GO guy. I've never been a big Counter Strike person. Are
I followed
you
it on the
weren't, right?
fringes. No, I would like keep up
Right.
with the stories, like check out some of the competitions that were going on. The whole marketplace for selling skins and stuff was kind of interesting, but I it was never about that world. But it was always interesting hearing about that, and then the fallout that came from that stuff too.
Right.
So to to hear some of this shakeup that Valve has done for CS2 is interesting. They decided to expand on their whole trade up contract system, which is a way for you to get knives and gloves apparently. And they changed the system to where you can now trade in like five of what's called stat track covert items and for a stat track knife, or five regular covert items for a standard knife or gloves from the provided collections. But in doing so, this allows you to continually trade up, I guess, copies of these things to different rarities, which makes the harder to get ones that you would normally get from like drops or the third party marketplaces or something like that, which are supposed to be really rare. But this increases the ability to get those things. And in doing so, they kind of undercut the community's market share by, from what they say, was it went from about 6 billion, explain to me how, to under 5 billion.
Oops.
Yeah. And I like that one of the redditors that I saw talking about this too, they pointed out the screenshot that was used in the article. The gloves were about 6,000 on the marketplace, and then the knife itself goes from 7 to 12,000. Who is paying
Jesus.
for those things?
People who love Counter Strike, evidently.
You must really love it a lot. But one thing,
I
there
mean,
was one thing that they called out in the article, which I don't. I know that there are people who are, they have things going on, so like a shock to the system like that kind of hurts their bottom line or would harm them financially is going to have an intense emotional reaction to it. But when someone says that something like this, let me get the exact quote because I don't want to misquote it. But they said, you guys know that people are probably going to harm themselves because of this, yet you push it out without hesitation. Crazy. I don't think that they're doing it intentionally to hurt anybody. They're trying to make a game easier and like the access to things a lot easier for people, especially for people who don't have thousands of dollars to spend on a glove and a knife for a video game. But I feel like that's an unfair assumption or reaction to that. Like, yes, maybe that's true, but why are you throwing it back on the company like they're doing it intentionally?
I mean, so my only takeaway from that is, do I think the company did any of this? Well, I guess here's my thing. They are the ones who created the whole ecosystem and they fed into it to begin with. The whole financial bubble that was in Counter Strike. They made it. So if they
They
go
also
and
don't
do something
control all
that
of it.
break, they do though.
Well,
They
I
they
mean the
have this
markets for
the
that. They have the Steam community market, but then there's also third-party sites that you can go to buy like these skins and things. So they only control
sure.
so
I
much
guess
of
my
it.
sure. I guess so. But they're the ones who are making the assets. The company is right.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
So at the end of the day, like so, let's say I have a Counter Strike. Like let's say I make Counter Strike and I make Super Cool Knife number one, and Super Cool Knife number one goes for $10,000, and then I say, hey, guess what? 3 years down the line, I'm gonna make 40,000 Super Cool Knife number ones, right? You made the rarity, you made the demand, you never, when it started selling for crazy amounts of money, you didn't come in and say, whoa, 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 let's police this a little bit. Because people are paying that, and I can almost guarantee you, people are paying that to, even if it's being bought from a third party site,
Hmm.
companies still making revenue. And at the end of the day, they could have come in and said, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make all of this free. You know what I mean? Like, we'll put it out there. But they didn't, and then they waited, and then to try to drive people back into the game, they made it easier or changed the mechanic, and now people are kind of like, well, what the hell, dude? People, gave up their life savings for this. I mean, they kind of did, like
They kind of went all in on it.
I mean, like at the end of the day, if you, as a person, you should have the ability to spend your hard-earned money on whatever you want. But
Yes.
if a company is, I mean, it's like the whole DraftKings thing where it's like if you're making a commodity and then marketing said commodity to be something that you need if you're in that community, and then 2 years later making it so that everyone can have it, if you were the first person to buy that thing for a ridiculous amount of money, you know, I don't think that they're doing it so that people can go hurt themselves. They're doing it to like shit on their fans, but they should have probably nipped that in the bud to begin with years ago, so that way you didn't have people spending $12,000 on a knife and $6,000 on a pair of gloves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, uh,
That's an interesting one.
Also on the Steam front, though, apparently there's been some research on like games that have come out on the system on in the ecosystem itself, and I guess this year there was nearly 13,000 games that were put on Steam. And Steam has this thing where if you want to publish on on their service system, whatever you want to call it, they have $100 install fee. Apparently, not like at least 5,000 of those games that have come out didn't make enough to cover that $100 fee to put their game on there. And only about 8,000 of them made, like the rest of the 8,000 made just under $1,000. And only 8% of that whole total has made $100,000 on Steam. So I think it's safe to say that the market is kind of flooded when it comes to indie games, and you have to like you got to really shout to like get your game seen. But it's also like that's one market. We're not looking at like GOG or Epic or I don't even know if you can put yours on Ubisoft yet, but there's a handful of other markets. But you still have to make a lot of noise and have something that stands out to like get your thing seen.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the nature of any like commodity-based business, right? If you're in there to make money, I had a friend who wanted to do a YouTube channel, and he was like, like again, like we put out a podcast. We're doing it for the love of the game, man. Like, if we have Mike watching in the back, sup, Mike? But at the end of the day, like I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing this for like this is a thing. It's a really fun thing to do to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it to make money, then I read a book by Stephen King. It was called On Writing when I was back in my English major days, and basically he was like, okay, so you think that you're going to be a writer and be profitable. Like 1% of writers, like 1% publish something.
Mm-hmm.
Not make millions of dollars, publish something. Of that 1% of those people publish something and actually make a, you know, not a considerable amount of money, but some kind of money. Not money to live, just money.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1% of those people make, like it just trickles down.
Right.
There's always going to be like a flooded marketplace for something like, indie games. Everyone wants to make the next Undertale, you know? And everyone thinks that they can. And some of them are probably good, or if not better than Undertale. But how would you ever know? Because there's 13,000 other games
Right.
that you have to get through. Yeah, it's
I mean,
crazy.
this is not a small indie game, but like I had mentioned, Absolum didn't come on my radar until it was released. Never heard of it, didn't know it was coming out. It was like it had my name written all over because it was the kind of game I liked and wanted to play. I'm glad that I
Right,
saw it, but like had no idea. There's no noise, no fanfare. You have to fight to get through all that shit.
right. And that's tough for indie for indie developers. And actually, I was kind of reading a thing of where one of the AAA companies, like one of their former heads, was like, honestly, we really should. AAA companies really should stop putting out AAA games. Maybe put out one or two. No, like that should stop being their focus. What they should be doing is really developing their double A and single A and really indie games, putting that out onto the market because it would it's a lot more stable and also at the end of the day, like we talked about Assassin's Creed, there's a million Assassin's Creed likes. There's a million Breath of the Wilds, there's Horizons, there's these, Spider-Man, there's Halo, these huge big blockbuster games, and that can't be sustainable. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just those games
You're
you invest so much.
funneling all the money into developing those. And
Right.
I like that you mentioned that too because there was a point in time where Xbox and Microsoft was all about that. They had that whole Xbox Arcade series where it was all these indie developers that got. I mean, they even had indie at Xbox that highlighted indie developers and their games that they were making. They put them on the front of the game store on the 360 and was talking about them. They had their own space. You knew where to find them. There was always something new to see, and you wouldn't lose out on seeing them. But now
Right.
we've kind of moved away from that and moved on to like first party stuff, like you said.
Right. And that's
And
kind
Mike
of
is right.
and it's
This is how we get $100 games.
right exactly. And this is how we get all there's only two tiers of games. There's $100 games, AAA games, and there's $5 Vampire Survivor, and anything in the middle is just nothing. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? You either have well, it's basically AAA $100 game, $5 Vampire Survivor, and then free to
Or
play, and
$20
that's
indie game, and that's it. And you never know what you're gonna
right.
get.
Right, and the $20 indie game space is going to eventually get flooded because again, there's a million of them.
Yes. I like that
All
Mike's
right.
not even on the podcast and he's still participating.
Oh, always there,
Love it.
never fails. Loving it. Um, I got two more things, and then I'm going to be honest with you because Shawnee getting old. Shawnee
I
getting
mean, I
tired.
was ready to call it, but let's hear it.
All right, two things.
Yes.
One, Alan Wake Studio
Yep.
Remedy's CEO stepped down.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I wanted to highlight it is because of this game, FBC Firebreak.
Yes.
I did not know anything about this. I was like, wait,
Really?
what? It
Mike and
was
I
a
played it for a little
spin-off game?
while. Yeah.
So, and I was kind of reading through the article because I read a review on it because I was
Hmm.
like, I was like, I honestly
Was the
didn't know
review when
anything
the
about.
game first came out or after they updated it?
I think it was when it first came out. Basically, they were saying like, okay, so the person who wrote the art, I think wrote the review. I think it was Kotaku.
Hmm.
It was on Kotaku.
Yeah.
Was basically like, okay, I played this game. I've been like six different games. I've been in a bunch of them, and yeah, my job is always putting out fires. And I'm like, wait, what?
Mike says you need
Is
to get it so we can all play. It's a 3-man
well,
squad game.
yeah, I mean, it's true. Evidently, it was not good enough to keep the CEO of Remedy around, and they think again, it wasn't. They didn't expressly say that was the reason he left, but
It sure seems that way.
right, totally. I was just I wanted to bring that up to you because I was like,
Yeah, I
oof,
was
that's
reading
a
about
swing and a
that. But
miss.
under this dude, they had a lot of wins too. I mean, he oversaw the production of Alan Wake 2. He helped secure the rights to get Max Payne 1 and 2 so that way they can redo it with Rockstar footing the bill for development on that, I believe. Control 2 is in development because of them or because of him.
Yep.
What else? There's another they worked with Epic to finish the funding for Alan Wake 2 and maintain the rights to the IP rather than having to sell it off, akin
Right.
to how Alan Wake 1 got with Xbox and Microsoft, which they had to do partial IP rights with them to get the funding for Alan Wake 1, which I think under him he actually helped buy the rights back to that so that way it's wholly under Remedy as well now. So he's done a lot of good.
Oh, totally. And to be fair, like I think one whiff should not be the end of a career. Again,
Right.
I don't know enough about this guy. He might, based on like again, based on his output of his the games that were output under his leadership. I mean, it's Control and Alan Wake, like
Hmm.
two of the most like cryptozoological, weird alt history, like X Files esque games of all time that
I always
everyone
just
loves.
it's if you like David Lynch, you like those games.
Yeah, and then like, but again, it was really. I think I need to read more about it. Maybe if they do, if FBC comes out on the Switch too, I'll get it and we can do crossplay or something.
It was on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. That's how we were doing it, and there's crossplay. So
Ooh. So I'm going to do this, copy video
you can.
address, and this is the last thing I'm going to put out because again I'm getting tired, but I'm going to put this in here in the group chats,
I'm looking.
and hopefully this isn't a thing, but for you Lego nerds, there is a
Oh,
full-on arcade.
that is
Stop it.
awesome.
Wait for it. Oh, that's only the. Oh, he doesn't. That's not the. Okay, hold on.
That is so cool.
It's not showing the entire video.
Does it open up? Oh, I think I've seen this. It opens up and there's a little minifig inside, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's so cool.
That is
I saw
cool.
that. I was like, I need to get this. I need to get this on the podcast and also buy it for myself.
Yeah. Christmas is coming up. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hell yeah. All right, folks. I think that's going to do it for us. So if you want more video game news, you want to talk to us on socials, you want to hear some news about video games, or just say hi, we are on Facebook and Instagram and Blue Sky and Threads. And you can follow us on Patreon and subscribe to our YouTube. The YouTube video, or the video form of the podcast, goes up every morning, every Wednesday morning, along with the podcast audio form of the podcast. I'll get better at this one of these days. Podcasts go live on Wednesday. So does the video form on YouTube. We record Thursday nights. I'm going to say 8:30 to 9. So tune in every week. You'll see our pretty faces again. Hit us up on the socials, though. We'll talk to you there. And Mike, say goodbye. Say goodnight if you're there still.
Mike says goodbye.
I think we're going to say bye too now.
All right. Later.
Bye.